Hi there, crafty friends. Louise here. Today's Share for Scraptember is all about a large photo. Now, I have printed a photo from our Outback Queensland trip in 2024, and I do all my photo printing at home. And this one I printed on an A4 photo paper, and I printed it 2 photos to the one A4 piece. So I actually have a second larger photo that I'm going to scrap at a later date, but that just gives you an idea of what size this photo is. It is a 5 size. And so I had these 49er Market pre-made backgrounds, and that was the sort of basis. I love this collection. I think it lends itself really well to these sort of holidays or outback kind of layouts, and having the background already pre-made with some layers and things going on, I really wanted to sort of incorporate these strips down the side. Distressing is one of my favorite techniques, and so I'm pulling from this kit, which actually was a Kitaholics kit in 2025. So it had all these embellishments and the stickers and the titles and all the bits and pieces included in that as well. The only thing that's different is the charms creation that I've added at the end. And so the other thing that I feel lends itself really well with this collection and this type of scrapping is some twine. And I just use the ordinary old sort of baker's twine that you can buy just at your discount store. Sometimes it's in the gardening section, sometimes it'll be in the craft section or in other places, but that for me can just add that little bit of a textural element and help you to incorporate sort of more of those browns and those natural colours. So with this particular layout, I kind of wanted the side strips to have different layers, whether that be through the twine, whether it be through some different patterned papers. So initially I'm just going to get some stuff into the background. So I'm going to distress the top and bottom of my backing paper around my photo. And then I'm going to incorporate just a little bit more black. I sort of needed to darken it up a little. Yeah, I love the neutrals. I love that sort of natural cream tones and the browns, that sort of vintage kind of feel, but I just wanted something a little bit extra, so a little bit of ink through a stencil, and that's going to just give me that pop of darkness that I want. And so occasionally I will audition elements, so I wasn't 100% sold on these side pieces or what I was going to do with them, and I did consider maybe just thinking about it a little bit longer, and then I kind of went, no, I'm pretty happy with those. So I'm actually going to stick them down and really just work on some layering and tucking a few bits and pieces in those different patterns around. So yes, the background is quite busy, but because we're keeping it in this same sort of color palette, it doesn't feel overwhelming to the eye, which I think is a great way to have a scrapbook layout. So here's that twine element, and again, this particular layout I just sat down and put together in a single session. It came together really nicely. I didn't have to work really hard. Actually, the biggest issue I have at the moment is that my glue keeps getting stuck in the end of my glue packet, so I have to keep fixing it, which is a little bit frustrating. But anyway, back to the actual layout. So keeping to the right hand side, I feel like this is something a bit different. The idea of having a larger photo gives you quite a bit of space that if your photo's not completely full, you can actually embellish and add a few of your little elements to overlap the photo, which I think is a fun technique to do as well. All right, so this is looking good. I'm quite happy with this. I want to bring in a little bit more brown over to that right-hand side, similar to what I've done over the left, but I don't need to fill the whole thing. I do have a little bit of a play with some other embellishments from my ephemera stash. I looked at a few, pieces, whether they be tags or, cameras or frames, and nothing was sort of working for me. I just couldn't get anything to blend quite as well in the background layout. So I'm going to leave this in and show you, just purely because you get to see the process and that not everything works on a layout, not everything makes it in. And, based on your own scrapping, you might actually really have included some of these elements that I'm rejecting. And that's the best thing about it, is that you can choose what really suits at the time that you're creating. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as anybody else's. So I toyed with a few bits and pieces. Nothing was really working. Had a bit of a look through the layout and decided, do I really need to add anything? You know, was it just enough the way it was? The background was already pretty busy. You know, it didn't need that. So I just popped a little bit of foam tape behind the hearts to include a little bit more heart element with the matching charms creation. And then with the kit, it had this packet of enamel dots, and they were black, which toyed in with that black inking through the stencil. So I'm going to pop just a few of the little enamel dots around for emphasis, and that is my large photo layout for Scraptember done. Thank you so much for watching.